This page showcases the front cover of the Dreamcast magazine, featuring an exclusive Shenmue 2 review and guide. There are also exclusive previews for Project Gotham Racing and Jet Set Radio Future. It mentions bizarre creations taking Metropolis Street Racer to the next level and Sega's stunning Skater getting a sequel. Down below we have some screenshots from Jet Set Radio, encouraging you to grab some air and avoid the law. It mentions an Ultimate Dreamcast Bundle Part 2 and offers £5 off any DC game inside. Kara. This page features the contents of the issue, highlighting key articles such as Rez as the big story, Jet Set Radio Future, and Sega preparing an onslaught across all formats. There's an editorial discussing the shift towards covering Sega games on other consoles due to the lack of Dreamcast news. It also includes smaller previews for Gun Valkyrie, Sonic Adventure 2, Project Gotham, Sega GT 2002, and Phantasy Star Online, which is Sega's plan to keep the gamers entertained. The next page is an advert for Dreamcast and Game Boy Advance games and accessories. A range of Dreamcast games are featured, including Skies of Arcadia, Shenmue 2, Headhunter and Crazy Taxi 2 amongst others. There's also a selection of peripherals, such as memory cards, controllers, and light guns, and offers for bundles that include the console and several games. A selection of Game Boy Advance games and peripherals are also listed, with exclusive deals available at Special Reserve. This page is a preview of the game Rez, described as a music-based shoot-'em-up in wireframe. It's likened to Space Harrier, but with a unique twist involving synesthesia, where targeting enemies creates sounds that blend with the music. The article mentions that the game stimulates both eyes and ears. A feature called Who's the Boss highlights some of the bosses encountered at the end of each stage, giving some insight into their weak spots. One boss is described as a disco ball with missile-launching tentacles, while another resembles a giant octopus with a tiny weak spot. The reviewer seems enthusiastic about the game, despite acknowledging that it might seem complicated at first glance. This page is a double-page spread featuring Virtua Striker 3 vs 2002 for the GameCube, suggesting it's an update to the arcade football game. The text highlights that it may well be an improvement over previous versions. We've also got a preview of Phantasy Star Online for the GameCube, touting it as a game that will save Sega, no less. It boasts online play. Screenshots show character customization and in-game battles. Finally, there's a competition to win Angel box sets, asking which mixtape that singer sang about angels. It's Robbie Williams, obviously. A TV section has a snippet about Shadow Man About the House, a show following the exploits of Robin Tripp and Michael Leroy. This page is a bit of a mixed bag in it. We've got an ad for some old mobile phones and accessories. Got one of these? Then get this pushing various add-ons, like cases and faceplates. Then there's the bargain basement section, highlighting cheap Dreamcast games from Amazon and Electronics Boutique, mentioning titles like Choo Choo Rocket and Sonic Adventure. In Your Dreams looks back fondly at old games they'd love to see on the Dreamcast, specifically mentioning Flashback. Finally, there's a mobile phone section with Mobile M8 magazine, covering ringtones, graphics and SMS stuff, promising to help you find love by text. Flippin' heck. The next page is titled UK Charts Update and is sponsored by UK.com Electronics Boutique. It kicks off with EB Online offering Dreamcast bargains, followed by a guide to festive fun, cheekily discussing Christmas and suggesting games like Tennis 2K2, Headhunter, and Shenmue 2. There's a top 10 sellers on eb.uk.com chart, listing games like Sonic Adventure 2 and Rainbow Six. An advert says, with 90% of all orders delivered within 48 hours, great prices and secure shopping, Electronics Boutique's online arm, www.eb.uk.com, is the best way to buy your games. The page concludes with a Most Wanted section previewing Sega GT 2002, Jet Set Radio Future, and Phantasy Star Online 2. This page is a guide to the online version of Dreamcast Magazine, hosted on dc.totalgames.net. It highlights the website's structure, covering sections like news, features, release lists, reviews, previews, gallery, tips, competitions, charts, and forums. There are multiple screenshots of the website showcasing Dreamcast gaming news, monthly news archives, and Dreamcast features index. The page also mentions winning one of 4 copies of Crazy Taxi 2 in a competition, and highlights sections for reviews/previews, gallery, and forums. This page is a spread featuring Gun Valkyrie for the Dreamcast. The review describes it as an all-action game, where you play a cybernetically enhanced super trooper fighting alien bugs. The reviewer notes the control system might be complex due to the amount happening on screen at once. Also featured is a GameStation advert selling a few Dreamcast games, such as Crazy Taxi 2 and Soldier of Fortune. The next page is an article about Jet Set Radio Future for the Xbox. The reviewer is excited about the game, a sequel to the Dreamcast title, where you play as inline skating graffiti artists rebelling against authority. The game involves spraying tags, avoiding police, and battling rival gangs. The soundtrack is also hyped, featuring artists like the Latch Brothers, BS2000, Q-Tip, and Bran Van 3000. They think the Xbox version is a significant upgrade over the Dreamcast original. This page features a preview of Jet Set Radio Future for the Xbox. It showcases screenshots of the game's cel-shaded graphics and action-packed gameplay. The reviewer is excited about the improvements over the original Dreamcast title, particularly the enhanced animation and blurring effects. It talks about spraying tags, performing tricks, and recruiting skaters to your gang, all while avoiding the police. Also mentioned are multiplayer modes, and the ability to create custom gang tags. The article expresses anticipation for the game's release, highlighting its potential impact on the Xbox. This page focuses on Sonic Adventure 2 Battle for the GameCube. Sega's mascot is making a splash with a new multiplayer mode. The reviewer notes that while Sonic may not be as famous as Mario, he's still a speedy character. They mention the focus on speed and ring collecting. With a port of Sonic Adventure 2 coming to Nintendo, the reviewer suggests that Nintendo's platform gaming scene is about to change. The preview highlights the chance to play as the enemy, including Dr. Eggman and Shadow, and they expect it to be a platform action rollercoaster with minigames and GameCube extras. Alongside the Sonic preview, there is an advert for the Superman, the movie special edition DVD. Touting added scenes and behind-the-scenes features, it is coming to Safeway on the 24th of September 2001. This page features a preview of Project Gotham Racing, touted as possibly the most realistic racing game ever. The preview highlights its focus on cool driving and a kudos system that rewards stylish play. The game includes over 200 circuits based on cities like London, Tokyo, San Francisco and New York, with impressive details created from actual photographs. The reviewer jokes that they even had to ask the artists to add more polygons, as each car boasts 16,000 polygons. A Cool Cars sidebar shows in-game models of various vehicles. The next page provides a summary of the new racing game, Project Gotham Racing, where the reviewer expresses excitement about the game's graphics and the kudos system, which rewards stylish driving. It highlights an interview with Sarah Chudley from Bizarre Creations, developers of the game, who shares insights into the advantages of the Xbox console and how they achieved realistic reflections and damage to the cars. The kudos system is explained as rewarding players for stylish maneuvers, rather than just coming in first place. The developers went to great lengths to replicate real-world cities, although recreating Paris proved too difficult due to copyright issues. It closes by emphasizing the game's roots in Metropolis Street Racer on the Dreamcast, with significant improvements made to the code and the kudos system. Additionally, there is a Logoboy advertisement for ringtones, music, and logos. The advert includes images of people with mobile phones with some sample logos and ringtones with prices and contact information. This page is a review of Shenmue 2, declaring it the biggest review ever needed, with the bold statement, "We're just too good to you." There's a Dream Team section that apologizes to members of the team for various reasons. Simon Phillips gets ribbed for living in the office, Chandra Nair is compared to Craig David, and Rob Sullivan is teased for having a whole magazine dropped on him at the last minute. Stephanie Pete is called out for posing for photos in Cube, Saira Kuma gets a mention for boyfriend-related gossip, Simon Can is acknowledged as deserving of everything he's gotten, Simon Griffin gets stick for being hairy, and Russell Murray gets to write 50% of the reviews to make up for something. The Dreamcast opinion section breaks down the review into chunks, with a rating of 66%. It concludes that the game isn't as bad as you might think, but still not enough to warrant more than a few days' play. The Dreamcast Magazine scoring system is explained, with 90% or above being the only games worth having. There are also mini-reviews for 90 minutes, and Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX. This page features a full review of Shenmue 2, commenting on how the US version was seemingly cancelled, but the Dreamcast's last big game was still coming out, questioning if it was worth it. The reviewer mentions the game is subtitled into English and not dubbed like the original, while the voice acting has its issues. The text touches on the graphics, still looking good for the time, with some slowdown and texture issues. The sound in Shenmue 2 is considered a downgrade from the original due to the amount of speech. The Workaholic side panel highlights the ways to make money in the game through work, gambling, selling items, and illegal street fights. It also contains the message that most of the game is much less linear than the original. This page showcases a review of Shenmue 2, describing the improved graphics, gameplay, and fighting mechanics. The reviewer believes the game is faster paced and more action-packed than the original. Screenshots highlight various areas of Hong Kong Ryo will visit, including Aberdeen, Wan Chai, Kowloon, and Guilin. The next page features a review of Shenmue 2, highlighting how the new icon system simplifies Ryo's actions, offering options like talk, action, door, and notebook. The game, set in 1987 Hong Kong, has a different atmosphere compared to the original. You can earn money through activities like crate carrying, playing pachinko, street fighting, arm wrestling, gambling, and even selling toys. The story is a high point, drawing from Japanese, Chinese, and martial arts culture, featuring characters like Ren, Joy, Xuing, and Wong. The reviewer thinks this game is everything a sequel should be. Screenshots show Ryo in various activities, like feeding ducks, watching brawls, and engaging in potentially shady money-making schemes. The review concludes with a rating of 94%, praising the visuals, sounds, gameplay, and value. It suggests that even if you didn't like the first game, you should still experience this one. This page is an advert for Top Dog for Christmases featuring Dreamcast games, 90 Minutes, Headhunter, Sonic Adventure 2 Zombie Revenge, Shenmue 2, Ready 2 Rumble Boxing Round 2, Virtua Tennis 2 and Crazy Taxi 2. You could get a voucher booklet worth £100 when you bought any of these titles. A dog is pictured playfully tugging at a Christmas gift ribbon to add some festive charm. This page features a review of the game 90 Minutes for the Dreamcast, which the reviewer does not seem to hold in high regard, claiming it lacks passion and flair, and that players react as though they were 80 years old. The review highlights issues with controls and slow gameplay, and questions the referee's eyesight. The page includes various screenshots, and a section with extra information suggests alternative football-related activities to playing the game, such as getting a David Beckham-style haircut, or going to a nightclub for a punch-up. The next page features a scathing review of 90 Minutes on the Dreamcast. The reviewer humorously notes that the game's title is apt, as that's the maximum time anyone should endure playing it. They criticize the awful controls and lackluster speed. The review includes a judgment section, highlighting positives such as the loads of teams and correct player names, but negatives like slow gameplay and unresponsive controls. A second opinion further slams the game, suggesting that football games never really took off on the Dreamcast. The page also suggests Virtua Striker 2 and UEFA Dream Soccer as alternatives. 90 Minutes receives a dismal Dreamcast rating, visuals 55%, sounds 40%, gameplay 20%, and value 20%, culminating in an overall score of 30%. A side panel lists generation games, with 90 Minutes conspicuously absent. The reviewer wraps up the piece with a sarcastic summary, stating the game lacks passion, flair, and excitement. This page reviews Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX for the Dreamcast, comparing it unfavorably to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. The reviewer expresses disappointment that it's a mediocre PlayStation port and criticizes the lack of originality and exploitation of Dreamcast's technology. The game's course editor is mentioned, and the review highlights the soundtrack and fairly competent visuals, but ultimately deems the game uninspired. The judgment section presents a mixed bag of heads and tails, with heads pointing to similarities to Tony Hawk's, being a third-party Dreamcast game, and tails noting that it's a PlayStation port and the stage designs are dull. Alternatives, like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 and Jet Set Radio, are recommended. The Dreamcast rating for visuals is 74%, sound 79%, gameplay 72%, and value 59%, resulting in an overall score of 68%. The next page is an advert for Project K, a specialist in mail-order import video games and accessories. They sell Pocket Station downloads, PlayStation and Dreamcast imports, and various merchandise like Final Fantasy collectibles. Games such as Guitar Freaks, Pocket Station and MP3 adapters for PlayStation, and Japanese PS2 consoles are advertised alongside collectibles for Final Fantasy V2 and V2i. The usual sales speak of prices subject to change, and the disclaimer that import games might not work on UK consoles is present. It also has info on where to find their website and contact info. This page features a mailbox section where readers send in their opinions, and the magazine responds. Topics include reader opinions on Sega, the Dreamcast's legacy, and game recommendations. There's also a discussion about the possibility of the magazine covering games on other platforms now that the Dreamcast is ending. The editor makes it clear that the content for the Dreamcast will end eventually, and Sega won't keep filling the magazine up with content every month. One reader asks about the magazine, including demo discs, and the editor responds that Sega is not able to supply them. Another reader trapped in Afghanistan with only a Dreamcast and a copy of Exhibition of Speed. Someone else asks about the official Dreamcast light gun, to which the editor responds they are unable to get it. The magazine also features correspondence on the Dreamcast and its place in the gaming war. Titles such as Gujaz, Virtua Tennis 2, Sonic Adventure 2, Quake 2 iArena, Evil Twin, and Headhunter are among the games mentioned in the text. This page is dedicated to reader reviews. Readers have sent in their short reviews, 100 words, on various Dreamcast games. First up is D2, with the reviewer raving about its graphics and atmospherics. Sonic Adventure 2 gets praise as one of the best action-adventure titles. Confidential Mission is touted as one of the best shoot-em-ups, boasting gameplay and graphics, and Alien Front Online is praised for its pick-up-and-play simplicity and awesome firepower. The right side of the page is an advert for a service where people can have novelty answer phone greetings or celebrity voices for their mobile phones. There are lists of greetings sorted by top 20, music, movies, people and fun. A sample of celebrities who feature here include Chris Tarrant, Lee Evans, Murray Walker, David Beckham II, Lily Savage, Elvis Presley, Madonna, Clint Eastwood, Cheech and Chong, Robin Williams, John Wayne, Barbara Walters, Shirley Temple, Sylvester Stallone, Ronald Reagan, Mick Jagger, Michael Jackson, Paul Gascoigne, Ziza Gabor, Circa Fields, Dame Edna Everage, Rodney Dangerfield and Alice Cooper. Also, some simple instructions are included on how to set this up for your mobile phone. Tabor. This Dreamcast Solutions page provides hints, tips and cheats for various games. Sections include unlocking items, accessing bonus content, and achieving specific goals within games like 4-Wheel Thunder, Aero Wings 2, Army Men, and Buddy Heat. Detailing passwords, character unlocks, and extra tracks. Other games covered include Cap.com vs SNK, Crazy Taxi, Dave Mirra BMX, Daytona U, SA 2001, Dead or Alive 2, and more. The page concludes with a premium number advertisement for further assistance. T-Taxi. The next page brings us more Dreamcast cheat codes and secrets. Fighting Force 2 lets you select levels and access fireworks. Fur Fighters has codes to unlock thin mode, access hidden artwork, and unlock minigames by defeating certain bosses. Hydro Thunder unveils how to unlock all tracks, race in a fishing boat, and use a turbo start. Jimmy White's 2 Cue Ball reveals a cheat mode. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure provides codes to unlock Kid Mode and fight as various characters. KO the Kangaroo has cheat codes for unlocking levels, gaining extra items, and unlimited resources. Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, unlocks abilities and replenishes resources. Le Mans 24 Hours offers a racing cheat. Looney Tunes Space Race provides cheat codes to unlock Porky, Marvin, and more. Mag Force Racing unlocks tracks, tripods, and everything else, along with unlocking fighters and getting cheat codes. Marvel vs. Capcom lets you play as Lilith, Roll, and Gold War Machine. Frogger 2, Swampy's Revenge, offers level select, skip, infinite lives and unlocks. GTA 2 features codes for money and weapons. Guilty Gear X unlocks Testament, Dizzy, Guilty Gear Mode, and character endings. Jedi Power Battles unlocks characters like Ki-Adi-Mundi, Darth Maul, Queen Amidala, and Captain Panaka. This page is from Cube magazine and features tips and cheats for various GameCube games. For Marvel vs. Capcom 2, there are instructions on how to switch character order. There are codes to play as Shadow Lady, Red Venom, Orange Hulk, Akuma, and Ken. Also included are instructions on how to select a special partner with specific button combinations to unlock various characters such as Unknown Soldier, Lou, Arthur, and many more. Moving on, the page has cheat codes for MDK2, including how to make Kurtware boxes and how to activate Indy 500 camera view. There are also cheats for Millennium Soldier, Expendable, such as shield, level skip, grenades, lives, credits, Easter egg, game 1, and level select. For Mortal Kombat Gold, there's an access cheat menu, easy endings, and instructions on how to fight as Goro and Noob Saibot, and how to play as Sector, as well as alternate fighter costumes. The next page is jam-packed, with cheat codes and tips for a few popular titles. Starting with MTV Skateboarding, we've got the cheat mode that unlocks all the boards, parks, costumes and skaters. Then comes NHL 2K, where holding specific buttons unlocks a programmer team. NBA Showtime, NBA on NBC, has instructions for playing any player on any team and changing player costumes. There's also a list of teams, names and pins to play as team mascots, including the Atlanta Hawks, Charlotte Hornets, Chicago Bulls and a load more. There are also unlockable players like Sean Liptak, Isaiah Thomas and Tim Kitzrow. Plus, cheat codes for accessing hidden courts and bonus teams. NFL Blitz 2000 features how to choose plays off-screen, access hidden players using pins, and activate various cheat codes like Infinite Turbo, Unlimited Throwing Distance, and Super Blitzing. Finally, there are cheat codes for NBA 2K to access bonus teams and activate effects like Big Heads, giant-sized players and miniature players. There are also cheat codes for no interceptions, no random fumbles and fast passes. The page is rounded off with tips for Pen and how to unlock alternate costumes. The page ends with a full-page advert for Cheats Unlimited and a number to call for more cheats and guides. This page is a player's guide for Shenmue 2, part 1 of an exclusive guide to the greatest adventure game ever. It focuses on the search for Li Xiaotao 1 and is broken down into sections such as Workers' Pier, Aberdeen, which gives a walkthrough on where to go and what to do. It also includes screenshots of the game showing characters, environments and clues. It mentions Wanchai, Queen Street and Joy, a strong-minded woman on a motorcycle, offering some guidance on navigating the game world and plot. There are also basic control layouts for the game. This page is a continuation of the Shenmue 2 Player's Guide, specifically the search for Li Xiaotao 2. It provides step-by-step instructions for finding Li Xiaotao, guiding the player through locations like Queen Street, Green Market QR, Fortune's Pier, South Carmane QR, and Scarlet Hills. Screenshots accompany the text, illustrating key characters and areas, and the player is advised on how to deal with certain characters in the game, like paying for information. The first half of the page also covers finding your stolen bag. This page continues the Shenmue 2 Player's Guide, focusing on finding the 4 Wood. It offers detailed instructions for locations like Wiseman's QR, Green Market QR, South Carmane QR and Lucky Charm QR, advising on how to progress the story by talking to specific characters and completing certain tasks, such as sparring with Jianmin and fighting land sharks. It also explains the importance of mastering skills, like the Tai Chi Iron Palm, and also breaking a rock, and also completing quick time events to advance the story. The final section concerns Scarlet Hills, with advice on how to enter the Manmo Temple, solve the wall puzzle and follow Shuying. The next page continues the Shenmue 2 Player's Guide, this time focusing on the search for Yuandazhu. It gives a step-by-step walkthrough, starting in Wiseman's QR, then Scarlet Hills, advising on when to talk to characters like Zhuoying and what tasks to complete, such as leaf catching. It mentions obtaining the woolen shoe and experiencing flashbacks, and finally returning to Wiseman's QR to learn more about Zhuoying's past. This page provides a guide to the Ren of Heavens section in Shenmue 2, giving a walkthrough of objectives. It starts with leaving Scarlet Hills and navigating through Lucky Charm QR due to construction work. You'll be seeking out the Heavens Gang and where they're located. There's dart playing involved at the Blue Sky Beer Garden, and a warehouse meeting at 7 p.m. Ultimately, it leads to a trap in Beverly Hills Wharf, a free battle, and waking up on Wong's boat, gaining a Heavens Lighter to access Beverly Hills Wharf. The next page continues the Shenmue 2 guide, now focusing on finding Ren after fighting the Heavens. It details how to fight the Heavens, highlighting Ryo's 3-kick combo. The guide covers finding Cool Zed, who will lead you to Ren, navigating the maze-like Beverly Hills Wharf, raising money, and dealing with Ren's knife attack using a freeze-ect. Successful completion earns a map to Fortune's Pier. The guide then covers Fortune's Pier and Queen Street, Aberdeen. Finally, the guide briefly mentions Scarlet Hills, One Chai, where you'll go to the Manmo Temple and learn a new move from Shuiying. This page offers a guide to Jet Set Radio. It includes essential information like the publisher, developer, origin, price, genre, and release date. There's a breakdown of various tricks, such as rail grind, wall grind, emergency stop, air tricks, and tagging on the fly. The page also details the game's controls and introduces the playable characters: beat, cube, gum, bis, corn, yo-yo, combo, sugar, grime, and soda, listing their life gauge, skill, tag difficulty, and can capacity. This page features a large advert for the original Xbox, showcasing the console itself, a controller, and the text, "It's coming." There are thumbnails displaying various emotive words like passion, love, sex, money, violence, religion, injustice, and death, possibly hinting at the content available on the console. Also included is a guide to level 1 of the game Jet Set Radio. It offers instructions for both Instructor Gum and Instructor Corn, detailing steps to complete the level and spray paint the town, finishing up with a map and gameplay tips to get those rival gangs out of the way. There's even a discount offer for the first issue of XBM magazine. Penai. The next page continues with the Jet Set Radio guide, now covering Level 2, Streets of Shibuya, and Level 3, Harbor. The Shibuya section gives instructions for Instructor 3, Combo, detailing how to grind and collect paint. The Harbor section provides safe areas and tips for spraying, noting the challenges of police dogs and helicopters. A map of Harbor is also included, marking the locations for graffiti spots. This page gives a walkthrough for Jet Set Radio Levels 4, 5 and 6. Level 4. The Junkyard provides instructions for Instructor 4, Grime, including wall grinds and rooftop jumps. It also highlights safe spraying areas. Level 5. The Poison Jam Gang focuses on defeating rivals using rail grinds and wall grinds, whereas Level 6, Benton Shefto, features the character Bliss, and the levels consist of jumps, grinds and spray points. The page includes maps for levels 4 and 6, marking locations for graffiti spots. This page continues the Jet Set Radio Token Guide, with Level 7, Benton City, including skate instructions from Instructor 6 Cube. Instructions include skating down the flyover and jumping onto the railing. The page also lists locations of all 90 Jet Set Radio tokens. Token 11 can be found on the roof of shops, Token 12 in the middle of the road, Token 13 requires a jump from the barrier, and Token 14 has a board at the side of the road. The guide continues with details for Level 8, the Noise Tanks Gang, focusing on rail grinds and cutting corners. This page continues the Jet Set Radio Token Guide, starting with Level 9, the Race. This section provides instructions from Instructor 7, Yo-Yo, offering tips on beating the level. The guide gives details on navigating the course, including using rail grinds, jumping to the floor, and finding the second exit. Level 10, the Love Shockers Gang, explains how to confront this gang, suggesting players chase them and spray them until they stop. Level 11 covers the Golden Rhinos in Shibuya, instructing players to mark their territory and defeat the troops. This involves navigating the unfinished freeway, water pipes, and bus station. Level 12 focuses on the Race 2 and Instructor 8, Sugar. The guide advises players to jump across bus shelters, drop onto the road, and then move through the pedestrian area and water pipe. The page also details token locations for levels 115, including Token 42, which is in the middle of the road, Token 43 requiring grinding up the elephant slide, and Token 44 found at the end of an alleyway. Tokens 4556 are listed with specific instructions on how to obtain them. This page continues the Jet Set Radio Guide with levels 13 to 16. Level 13, the Golden Rhinos in Harbor, offers strategies, focusing on red spray points, and a specific route that involves rooftops, streets, and a junkyard. Level 14, the Race 2I, includes Instructor 9, Soda, advising players to use shortcuts in the sewer system, and the junkyard warehouse. Level 15, the Golden Rhinos in Benton, is described as the easiest, instructing players to grab paint, avoid a giant, and use the subway. Level 16, the Golden Rhino Gang, details tactics for dealing with the gang members, including tagging them and rooftop confrontations with their boss. Token locations 57 to 87 are listed with instructions, mentioning various locations such as stairways, rooftops, warehouses, telephone wires, and sealed corridors. Lastly, the tokens, 8090 use, relate to achieving jet ratings on the Harbor, Benton and Shibuya levels. The next page is a directory listing for Dreamcast games, cheekily titled, "What's that all about then, eh?" It includes game names, publishers, number of players, VM compatibility, online capabilities, useful peripherals, and issue number where the game was reviewed. The directory includes a long list of games, from 18-wheeler, American Pro Trucker to Championship Surfer. There is a list of reviewers who put the magazine together. This page continues the Dreamcast game directory, covering titles from Nightmare Creatures 2 to Zombie Revenge. It also features most played games and mini-reviews for Tennis 2K2, Super Monkey Ball, and Rez. The second half of the page includes mini-reviews for comic books, with Transformers, All Fall Down and From Hell getting a hearty recommendation, and Drawing Cutting-Edge Comics getting a good nod. Also included is a section called Best of Genre, featuring titles like Resident Evil, Code Veronica, Soul Calibur, MSR, Choo Choo Rocket, Starlancer, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, and Hidden and Dangerous, each representing a different game genre and sporting impressive review scores. This page features a continuation of the game directory, starting with videos, and spotlighting Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, praised as a must-see martial arts movie. Then it transitions into Import Directory, listing a bunch of games with their publishers, player counts and ratings. It is a big list of game titles, with crosses marked to indicate certain features. On the right, the page contains more game reviews, including Soldier of Fortune and Tokyo Highway Challenge 2. Soldier of Fortune got a revised score of 74% after a second look, with the reviewer finding the loading times abysmal. Tokyo Highway Challenge 2 received a 65% rating. Finally, there's a review of the Nomad Soul, where David Bowie's appearance is noted, but the game is still deemed complicated, and only gets a 62% rating. The next page is a spread with adverts and reviews. It features a directory of games, listing titles like Tokyo Highway Challenge 2, Tomb Raider Chronicles, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, Toy Commander, and more. The directory table includes information such as the publisher, player count, online capabilities, and a rating out of 100%. Adjacent to the directory is a box office section with reviews of John Carpenter's Ghosts of Mars and Ghost World. The right side of the spread is filled with adverts. There's one for Telegames, promoting Christmas deals on products like Backtrack for Game Boy Advance and Iron Soldier 3 for PlayStation. There are offers for Dreamcast games, accessories like the official visual memory card, steering wheels, and deals on PlayStation consoles bundled with games such as Harry Potter. Finally, there's an advert for Game Boy printer paper and Nintendo GameCube consoles. And don't forget the £5 off voucher at Game. This page is an odd collection of adverts, cheat services, and gaming offers. It starts with New Age Consoles, advertising their hotline and website for console sales. There's also an ad for wind-up calls, promising prank calls to entertain. Then there's Inspector Cheats, promoting their cheat service with a massive list of games. The page also contains several phone numbers for adult chat services. There's an ad for VideoGameCompany.com, listing various Sega Saturn, Dreamcast games and accessories for sale. Lastly, we have GameCube and Xbox promotions from Gamatron Exchange, accompanied by an ad for l8shop.co.uk, specializing in mobile phone covers. And of course the Cheats Unlimited listing if you need help with those games. Warrington Norcree. This page is titled Stuff and Nonsense, and showcases a variety of products with humorous descriptions. First, there's a selection of Jeep coats with a price range of £54.99 to £139.99. Next up is the Yamaha Drum Pro D55, an electronic drum kit priced at £179.99, described as being only slightly better than a gerbil's musical talent. The Nike Air Kantara trainers are also featured for £90. Touted as being so advanced you wouldn't want to be seen running for the bus in anything else. Also included are EFX blue diode pens, costing £7.25, designed to add a bit of light to your nighttime existence. The Kenwood Opma 3 Uniround speaker, the price being £TBC, which the text states is a clever surround sound system that eliminates the need for wires. Finally, there's the Logic 3 All-Pago Pogo Stick, for £79.95, said to be no ordinary pogo stick with a high-pressure AirRam cylinder propulsion system. This page is all about Tekken 3 on Dreamcast, even though that's about as likely as finding rocking horse droppings, as well as the magazine's usual features such as news, cheats and reviews. The page has a form to reserve a copy, and also includes some coverage of titles like Jet Set Radio Future, Virtua Fighter 4, and Phantasy Star Online on GameCube. There's also Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, plus NBA 2K2 and NFL 2K2 for sports fans. The reviewed next issue section teases upcoming reviews for Bomberman Online, Res, Sova 2.0, Garou, Mark of the Wolves, Ooga Booga, and Cosmic Smash, and Shenmue 2, Part 2 is listed in the Solutions next issue. They're also promising cheats and tips for Tekken 3, 90 Minutes, Headhunter, Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX, and Cosmic Smash, so quite the collection. The next page is a back-issue order form for Dreamcast Magazine. Issues 5 through 28 are displayed, detailing the cover games, and a brief description of what's inside each issue. Many issues are marked as sold out, so your chances of getting your hands on them are slim. But the page does give you a chance to subscribe for 6 issues, as well as a form to fill out with personal details and payment information to subscribe to the magazine. This page is a mixed bag. We have a dream moment featuring Shenmue 2, reminiscing about making money in the game. There's also an advert for Kaipo Cyberpets, where you can download digital pets to your mobile phone by calling a premium number and following instructions. A bit of a blast from the past, eh?